Hello, Chris from Channel X here. Delighted to be with Liam from Buyaparcel on the day that we're publishing our multi-channel ebook in partnership with JustApps. So welcome, Liam, Commercial Director at Buyaparcel. Tell us a bit about yourself and the business.
Sure. So Buyaparcel is a multi-platform e-commerce business, primarily trading in the home improvement sector in three categories, which are bathroom and plumbing, which is our heritage, tools and outdoor equipment. I've been with the business for about 17 years, but we actually celebrate 20 years online this year. So we're very well established in the e-commerce space. But we still also have a legacy business as well, 45 years trading. So we know our way around the home improvement world. So yeah, we're very well placed.
And I understand that you're selling on marketplaces, including some of the relatively new and perhaps more unknown marketplaces, although very well-known brands of Mano and B&Q.
Yeah.
Tell us, how do you manage your sales on these new marketplaces that are coming along?
Well, stiff learning curve, Chris, I suppose. When we started, we just had a website, so one place to manage pricing and pictures and things. Joined eBay in 2004. And managing in two places was becoming quite difficult. So we want to look for something to help us with that. And that is when we stumbled across a beautiful piece of software called AdLister, which is what we still use today. And AdLister allows us to centrally store pricing, descriptions, full content and pricing centrally. But you also can have pricing for each market. So we have one place where everything is held. So rather than having to copy and paste from various different direct listing modules on each marketplace, it's all done centrally and pushed through an API. And it was a revelation for us. So since 2004, we've onboarded Amazon, which a few years thereafter, again, through Just Applications and the AdLister program. And then, yeah, more recently, as you touched on, Mano a couple of years ago, and B&Q only a few months ago. So all of that is done through the JustApps AdLister software. But they don't end there really with what they do. We also have a stock control module with them through a piece of software called nventree. So what that does is the same that AdLister does, but on the stock side. So that allows us to have centralized stock, which pushes to all markets again through the API. And if we have a sale, for example, on B&Q, that will update stock across all markets. So minimalizing chances of overselling. So we keep to the very strict KPIs and things like that the marketplace make us adhere to. And more recently, we also developed with JustApps a warehouse module, which is linked to nventree. So our packing stations, our guys can actually generate multiple courier labels for every single platform at a touch of a button. So our whole ecosystem really is very JustApps based. AdLister for the content and pricing, and nventree for the stock and warehousing side.
Yeah, and I think possibly the most interesting thing you said is that you started using them when you just had your own website and eBay, so kind of one marketplace, and that was when the penny dropped how easy it could be. And I think a lot of people, they kind of run their website business and run their eBay business almost as a separate business on the side and don't think about fully integrating them, which does make it a lot easier when you start selling on multiple marketplaces as well as your own website.
Definitely. I think the stock probably even more important than the pricing, because you could staff up the listing side, but if you sell in one place, it has to talk to the other, because if it doesn't, the risk of overselling is huge unless you separate your stock for each market, which again, it becomes very labor intensive. We've, like I say, we've been on a journey, we've tried those things, and centrally controlled, works very, very well.
So the B&Q Marketplace, they've just turned a year old. So tell us a bit more. When did you join, and what was the sign-up process like?
So we first transacted with B&Q back end of March. So it's still pretty early days for us in our trading with them. But again, onboarding, this is now fourth, fifth marketplace onboarding through Just Applications, and on approaching when B&Q approached us and we put it forward to JustApps the opportunity, their dev team were excellent in using the strength of our eBay data and cross-mapping it across to what the credentials are for B&Q. So for us, JustApps did a lot of the heavy lifting. A lot of the integration was all done, obviously, through them. So as long as you've got good eBay data, the mapping process across to B&Q using the tools which JA have got on AdLister makes it actually relatively straightforward. Certainly saved a significant amount of time. If we were going to try do it ourselves directly on the back end of Miracle that power the B&Q platform, that would have taken several months without question. So yeah, again, through the tools that JA have got, it's allowed the onboarding actually to be pretty slick, to be honest, Chris.
So another advantage of having the multi-channel solutions in place to start with.
Correct. And sales you touched on, again, it's early days, but I think the big thing to say about B&Q is obviously we all have seen B&Q adverts on the TV. We know what they sell. They're very DIY enthusiast driven. A lot of our product is very trade focused. So the type of product we're selling through that platform is different. Brands that are less trade focused, some of the legacy brands like Black & Decker have done quite well on there in the early days. And I think it's because it's more of a DIY brand. People can relate to that. And so yeah, in the only sort of 5-6 weeks of trade we've done, it's a very different demographic on that platform for sure.
And I think that's an interesting subject as well, because B&Q have recently announced that they've opened up some new categories, ones which really aren't their traditional market. Automotive, for example, camping. They started greens, or what we would call plants, outdoor games and toys, and building supplies. So there's a huge variety of categories along with their more traditional home and garden, home improvement type products. What would your advice be for retailers considering signing up to B&Q or wondering if they're selling in one of those new categories, whether it's time to join the marketplace or not?
Well, the opportunity is huge. They've got 20 million plus visitors a month. Looking for traditionally DIY products, but things like plants, if you're looking for DIY products, you're looking to do your home up, plants are a great add-on. The big thing to say is that B&Q are very much like Mano. They are a closed marketplace. So unlike the eBays and Amazons of this world, they are slightly more picky about the sellers that go on there.
So you can't just sort of go onto the website, open an account and start selling without the speaking to them first.
No, unfortunately not. So they want quality, I suppose, rather than quantity. And they want to make sure that they have a certain seller meeting a certain category criteria. So if they're already very strong in a certain area, then potentially they might not want to onboard more to that area. So if plants is your thing and you're very good at it, and you can see that that's not a great category for them, or that's a new one they've opened up, as you mentioned, then I would definitely put your CV forward, put your application into them and see what they say. And as I stressed earlier on, if you're already established on another major marketplace, whether it be Amazon or eBay, JustApps manage both of them. And like I said, the application process, if you are approved by B&Q, is actually very, very straightforward in terms of the integration if you go through JustApps, because they will just help you map the data across from those platforms. So I think if you think your inventory is right, then go over to DIY.com and pop your CV in and see if you're approved.
Fantastic. I should say that's your business CV, not your personal CV.
Your business CV, exactly. Yeah, your inventory list.
But Liam, I want to thank you so much for your insights, both on JustApps and the B&Q Marketplace. So 20 million potential customers to the DIY.com each month. And if you're looking for solutions to manage it, JustApps. And to find out more, including more about Liam and Buyaparcel, download our new ebook, which is out today, on multi-channel selling. We'll put a link below this video in comments. So Liam, thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Cheers, Chris. Nice to see you again.
Thanks.